Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or all my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Good morning and happy Wednesday. Here we are, halfway through the week, and I must say I'm grateful. It's been a very interesting week energetically, and I'm going to give a bit of an update, and then I'm going to tap into Ask the Medium questions. So today is a good day to drop your questions in the comment section. I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can. I am working on Zoom, so I do have to be a little bit mindful of time, but we will try my very best to get to as many questions as we can. Um, I'm not here on Friday. That is something else I just want to mention. I am not here on Friday. I am doing a event Friday evening, so I will be conserving a little bit of my energy and won't be channeling Friday morning. So we will spend a little bit of extra time here this morning. Good morning. Look at you all coming in. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable. uh, cool in this heat wave. Yes, it is very warm here too, and I'm not minding it, to be honest with you. It's nice to have some heat and to watch things bloom and to enjoy the summertime. So energy update. So we're coming into solstice energy and some full moon energy. A little bit. I'm going to use the word chaotic. A little bit of chaotic energy coming in, and perhaps you've started to feel it coming in maybe yesterday or and even maybe even this morning. Um, I'm just curious how many have been feeling a little bit on edge, a little bit of that knee-jerk reaction energy, a little bit of frustrated energy really quickly. That is moving in as we inch into the solstice and that full moon. And the reason for that is the solstice is asking us to connect more and deeper, and we do automatically go into resistance because sometimes we don't want to hear what we need to hear, and sometimes hearing what we don't want to hear can bring us into that space of pushing back. So if you find yourself pushing back a little bit, just pause and just ask yourself, um what do I need? What do I need to let go of? Or what's this trying to teach me? The energy, there's also a little bit of restless energy with sleep. So I'm curious to know how many of you didn't sleep great either last night or the night before, because that chaos energy is kind of moving through and affecting our sleep. Headaches and the top of their head where your crown chakra may be a little bit tingly or itchy. So I'm just curious if anybody's experiencing those physical changes as well, because our physical body does respond. The other end of this is you may be feeling a little bit hyper. So it depends on how you respond to energy. There may be a hyperness or just what's what I'm looking for. Um, Overreacting, but in a good way, laughing a little bit louder or a little bit harder. It all really depends on how you respond to energy that's around you. We all respond very differently to energy, and that's really important to note because sometimes with our responses, if you just kind of lean into that energy a little bit, it'll help you figure out where what you need more of or what you need less of in your life. And I think that's really important to note because we are responsible for our own journey and our own spirituality and how we're growing and how we respond to that and being able to understand why we're reacting, right? And I think that's really important. I also really wish that we would teach people about energy in elementary school or in high school because it does impact us very well. It also helps us to understand the people in our lives, and I think that's really important to note that other people around us, friends and family, your children, do animals even do respond differently with energy, and it does help us understand why they're responding that way as well. Now, I do feel that we're going to be shown a lot in the next couple of weeks. I feel the solstice is bringing in a lot of clarity in showing us things, and again, sometimes we don't like what we hear or what we see, but the reason it's being shown is an opportunity to change it. And if even if it's something as small as changing how we think, right? And perhaps might not be a small thing, it might be a big thing, but changing how we think, how we view it, how we react to it. I really feel the movement of that solstice coming in, and it does offer up, like, as well as the full moon tagging along with the summer solstice. I do feel it's like, hey, now's a really good time to grow. hey, now's a really good time to step forward. Now's a really good time to heal, right? I feel like that's being offered up to us, and then we kind of respond to it in a very different way. I taking that deep look within can be really hard for some people. Taking a look at what needs to change, taking a look at what really matters. That's all coming in, between now and Sunday and even into next week. What do I need to change? And the big word change. Again, some of us are not don't always embrace that, because we do struggle with letting go. Like, I mean, put your hand up if you struggle with letting go. Right, it can be hard sometimes, depending on what we have to let go of. But on the other side of all this is a lot of new beginnings. The energy almost felt like, like the new year, that new beginning. That's how it feels on the other end of the solstice and on the other end of this full moon. And I personally work really hard to embrace what needs to change. Even when I struggle with it, I embrace what I need to change or what I need to work on. And that's one thing that I talk about a lot is with my spirit guides. I always say, show me what I need to see, show me what I need to change, show me what I need to to work on. I'm very much okay with that energetically, because for me, I look at it as growth. Even when it's really hard, it's growth. And don't forget to be gentle on yourself with that. Be gentle with yourself. We tend to be so hard, we tend to be so resistant and so judgmental on ourselves, and even with other people. Sometimes it just simply helps to stay in your own lane and remind yourself they are learning that. They're learning how to let go. They're learning how to navigate through things. It just softens that. When the energy gets really chaotic, when it gets, when we feel really frustrated, it really helps to lean into, I'm learning that. Or they're learning that. It softens that judgmental piece. It softens that piece of being hard on ourselves. Oh, I didn't get it. Darn it, I didn't get. Here I am again with a repeat lesson. Just soften it a little bit. Be gentle with yourself. Always, but especially in the next upcoming couple days through the solstice and through this full moon, try to love yourself a little bit more, or and soften that judgment on yourself. You're doing the best that you can from where you're standing, and that needs to be acknowledged too, right? So let's scroll up and see how much of this is resonating with you guys. Oh, I see quite a few. um Kayla, good morning. I'm grocery shopping soon, but I'll wear headphones. Kayla, bless your heart for your love and support. Look at Fran. What's up, Lana Banana? I love you guys so much with how you come in with your with what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Shy, I'm in a bundle of chaos right now. It's in a good way. I'm goofy as heck. I love that. Right? That goofiness, that having fun with it. I love that. It does help navigate through chaos. It truly does. Spotty TY. Yeah, everything changed yesterday, the entire vibe. I strongly agree with that. I felt that coming in, even without sitting in meditation. I felt that big shift with the vibe. And a lot of it, when we grow and when things shift, remember it's collective energy too, right? It's people around us, and it's the growth around us, and it's everything around us that we respond to and feel that shift. I did have a bad sleep, only slept like 5 hours, and yeah, the sleep for me, I don't well, I guess I go in and out with the sleep piece, but energetically with the sleep, I think I'm requiring less of it. But I'm not sleeping great either. And it's that collective energy. A friend of mine called me yesterday, and she was giddy, laughed heartily at everything. I love that. And I think, one thing that when we bring in the vibration of humor, and I try really hard to be able to laugh at myself with my own learning and my own growing, and what's happening around us. Sometimes that's the best that you can do is just laugh it off. Like, yeah, look at the headaches here. Yeah, you guys are really resonating with this. Yeah, few you not sleeping, very emotional. So when it comes to the emotional stuff, make sure that you're not swallowing it. Make sure that you're allowing that to move through. Whether it be just sitting outside and letting yourself move, have a cry or have a feel. Allow that to move through. Quite often with emotions, we hold them back or block them, and all that simply does is layer it up in there, and then eventually there's the eruption. When it comes to emotions, being able to allow them, being able to sit with them, being able to just visualize them coming in and leaving, and with that acknowledgement. Nisa, my sleep has been so weird for the past couple of weeks. A lot of resonating here. Aaron, hyper. Maybe that's why I was able to get so much done yesterday. Yeah. See, there's not a bad, it's not always bad to be hyper. You can accomplish so much. Um, a lot of sleep stuff, tingles and chaos. Please send me a little extra confidence and guidance this week. Absolutely. Shannon, I also just want to add to that. And I know I say this all the time, but sometimes we do forget. Bring your spirit guides with you. Ask them to help you with that. Ask them to walk beside you. Ask them to come a little bit closer. Bring your guides with you when you feel like you're struggling a little bit, or if you need something. Right? It's one thing that we tend to forget is we can ask. Right? Like we don't like to ask, and and spirit has said that to me probably millions of times over the years. Just ask. Like just ask. And the reason of that, people always say, well, why do I have to ask? Number one, you have choice and free will, right? Like we have choice and free will, and that includes accepting guidance or help or support from people or our spirit guides. I'm letting everything go. Well done, Fran. I got frozen, stuck in my head. Let it go, let it go. Good one, Travis. Absolutely. And and with letting go, that is something that I think we all at some point have to work through that with the letting go piece. We kind of cling to things um a little bit too long, right? Or we sit in that process of not being able to let something go. And that's what really helps with that, Travis, is being able to come up with some form of ritual of letting something go, sitting with it, feeling it, letting it go. And sometimes we have to work on the same thing over and over again until we can truly let it go. Absolutely. Okay. A lot of you guys having sleep troubles. Yeah, it will settle down. I feel like by the weekend, I do feel we're gonna settle that down with the sleep stuff. Um, so hang in there with it. All right, I'm just gonna scroll down here and grab some questions. I'm going to Indonesia tonight. Ooh, I would love to go with you for a month. I will work first and take some days off to travel. Any messages for me from my guides? Thank you. Um, when you have your downtime, your days to travel, very much coming into feeling that the energy around you, taking a moment, either putting your back against a building or your feet, being aware of your feet on the ground. I feel like I just want to say pause a little bit and really take it in, asking yourself as you're traveling around or touring around, whether it be on foot or a train or car, just kind of asking yourself, what else do I see here? What else do I feel here? And just taking that moment to answer that. Oh, this is I feel this, I see that. I also feel like I've got to get a little notebook in your pocket. I can feel like I got to put a little notebook, taking some notes. And if there's anything that you want to leave there, and this is a great one for many of us, and it doesn't have to be in big travel. It can even be in the forest or out and even in your backyard. But what do I want to leave here? What do I want to let go of here? Sometimes it really helps to get out of the house and leave something somewhere. It does help with that letting go. So if there's anything that you feel like you want to let go of, leave it in Indonesia. And then when it comes back into your mind later on, you can say, oh, you know what? I did let that go in Indonesia, or I did let that go in the forest, or I did let that go in the backyard. I've let that go because sometimes it's just a matter of retraining this up here. That brain does kick in, and we can just say, oh, you know what? I left that out there. I don't have to pick that back up. I keep seeing this notebook in your pocket. So please, on your travel to Indonesia, make sure that you're carrying a little notebook or use your phone as a notebook. Um, Wendy, does Spirit have any messages for me today? Wendy, I feel like I've got to get my head up and be proud. I feel like I need to feel that. I feel like I've got to say, be proud of what's accomplished, what you've already healed, what you've already worked through. Be proud of that. I need you to just like work on that. Even if it's just for today, I need you to be proud of that. You've accomplished a lot of things, and I feel like I've got to practice standing up straight in it. I feel like I've just got to practice with my head up, looking at the sky. I really feel I've got to kind of give you that power, that self-confidence, that energy of pride, of being so proud of yourself. And sometimes we struggle with that. And I'm not sure if this is directly related to you, Wendy, or somebody, or if it's collective for anybody on here. But sometimes we shy away from being proud of ourselves. Like we're so afraid of leaning too far into the ego or too much self-confidence. Right? I just need to say be proud. It's okay to be proud, right? Um, Spotty. Does Spirit have a message? Any messages for me today? I finished high school today. Well done, you. Well done, you. I'm very excited for you. I feel like I've got to remind you of that, of the excitement, of really leaning into that excitement, and again with that confidence of feeling so proud. It has not been an easy couple of years for those in school, no matter what level. It's a hard go, right? It's tough, but look at how well you did, right? Acknowledging all of it. We're acknowledging the easy lessons, the difficult lessons. I also feel like I need to say to you, give yourself, as much time as you need in the upcoming weeks to really just kind of let your thoughts wander. Allow your imagination to kick in. I feel like I've got to say, you know what? It's like, go back to those little younger years where you just played and created. I feel like I need to give you that, right? I also feel like I need to kind of allow yourself to, and I'm going to try and word it so it doesn't come out. Give yourself here it is. Give yourself a little bit of time with not having structure. I need you to kind of march to the beat of your own drum, whether it be for an hour, whether it be for a couple of days or a week or the summer. I need you to kind of feel that freedom a little bit. And I know we have to have structure and rules in life. I understand all that, but I also feel we need to balance that with being able to kind of like march to the beat of my own drum, even if it's like playing a song on your favorite song on your set of headphones and just kind of marching around the house to the beat of your own music. I feel like I've got to give you that momentum a little bit. And sometimes we don't balance like structure and rules in the physical world with the energy of marching to the beat of our own drum. I feel like I've got to put that in the balance for you, even if it's just for an hour or the summer, whatever feels right there for you. I watched Inside Out and it reminded me of you, Lana. The message was very much about being kind to ourselves and allowing all emotions. Oh, I love that. I haven't seen it yet, but it is on my list to get to. I think that, you know, that is a big lesson that I think that we are coming into a better space with learning and teaching people, even at a younger age. And I think that it's never too late to tap into treating ourselves better and being kind to ourselves. And it also, when you think about being kind to yourself, being kind to ourselves not only heals, but it also gives us courage at many different levels. It gives us courage to try new things. It gives us confidence. It's okay to love ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And you know what's incredible about that is when you think about if we were all very kind to ourselves, we there would be less of the outlash towards other people. Quite often, 99% of the time, when we outlash at other people, or whether it be bullying or knee-jerk reactions, quite often we're expressing things that are unhealed within ourselves, right? Most people, if they're mean to you or if you've been bullied, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the unhealed version of that person that doesn't have the skills in their spiritual toolbox to work through it. But if they were kind to each other or kind to ourselves, we would be kinder to each other. It has that that double effect, right? And I do think we're getting much better. I do work a fair bit with with youth, and they have a completely different perspective than what I did on the sense of self when I was younger. They have a and we got to be careful we don't criticize that, because I've heard a lot of people say, well, today's youth are too self-absorbed or too selfish or too this or too that, and I see it completely opposite. They're much better at being kinder to themselves and honoring who they are, right? There has been a lot of growth in the last couple generations with honoring who we are, and honoring that sense of self. And you think about it, at least in the area that I live in, there's less focus on dressing a certain way. I mean, anything goes, and I love that so much. You don't have to, have a certain item of clothing on anymore to be included. We've grown a lot that way, and it's great to acknowledge that, right? Um, Sorry, I lost my spot. Here we go. Nisa. There is a puppy I'm interested in. She feels like she will be a good match for the family and good buddy for my current dog. I would agree with that, Nisa, but I also feel like I've got to gently remind you that even animals go through transitions with getting to know one another. So I do feel like there's going to be those moment that moment of learning to connect one another and learning to like one another. I do feel there's going to be some of that, but it feels like a normal thing. It doesn't feel like a mismatch to me. It just feels like, oh, my routine is changing. Now, Darla, I just want to when I lean into Darla's energy, um the only thing that I pick up there is that there's going to be a little bit of, am I still the baby? Because I feel with Darla, like there's a big baby energy. Like the big baby is how I'm feeling it. And I know that you wouldn't consciously exclude her from being that big baby, but you can have a big baby and a little baby at the same time. Is when I asked Darla what what she wants. She still wants to be the big baby. And so I just kind of have to give you that as a reminder. Is she still want big baby and little baby? um, I do feel like and I know you taking on another dog. I'm sure you've already thought of it. It's a lot. And I just have to kind of remind you of that. It's a lot. But it feels very good to me. Let's see where we go here. Lana, sometimes when I start feeling negative, I hear you in my head. We are all doing your best. And I always have to answer yes. Absolutely, Aaron. And you know what? That really warms my heart, Aaron, that that comes to your mind. That because, when we struggle and when we have those negative thoughts, it's normal and it's okay. And I'm working through it. And because sometimes we judge those negative thoughts, right? And we all have them. Right. And I'm so happy to hear that you have found a way, whether it be, something that I've said or something that resonates with you or anything else that comes to your mind to shift out of that. I also find that sometimes the negative thoughts is a little bit of old programming, whether it be media or how we were raised or political, or sometimes we've just been trained to think that. And being able to have a different thought come in is glorious evidence of growth for you that I'm thinking for myself now, right? I'm figuring it out. And I think that that is such a powerful thing because we do have to untangle a few things even with the greatest intentions and the best of upbringings. There's still a little bit of programming in that, right? Because you know we needed guidance, we needed support, and they would, our parents or our family or friends were doing the best that they could to get us there. But then we come into a space of, that doesn't resonate with me anymore. So you're working through a lot of those old ways of thinking, and being able to come up with a saying in your head. I've shared this a lot. It's an Abraham Hicks phrase. Whenever I feel, any kind of worry or concern that's coming from my brain and not from my reality, I'll just remind myself everything's always working out for me. It's always working out for me, and it just gets me out of that fear of, oh, what if, right? Well, it because we lean in there so much, throughout the years of our life. And if you were raised by people who worried a lot, if there was fear around you a lot, we lean into that. And it's normal. It's very normal to have, what if this happens? So it's always working out for me. It shifts me out of that really, really quickly, right? It's always working out. It always has, right? It just helps with that momentum and retraining. And you'll find that with that retraining your mind, you'll find that you'll do it less and less. I used to have to say that like probably 1,000 times a day, and now it may only come up in my mind once every other month or so. And it feels very different than spirit, right? It feels, I can tell the difference between mine and spirit's messages. And I can tell when it's mine. This is just me. So it does help to have that. And I've worked really hard on retraining my mind. And I know I share this with my mentoring students, but the easy way is plaster your house with post-it notes, with affirmations like that. Everything is always working out for me. I've talked about the cupboard door. Every time you open a cupboard door, new opportunities are always coming for me. Being able to retrain yourself into that. It does take some time and it does take some practice and it's a little bit of work, but at the end of that, it is extremely, extremely powerful tool to be able to tap into. And you can tweak that to whatever. I'm worthy of a loving relationship. Post it everywhere, right? Plaster it on your cupboards, on your bathroom mirror, on your computer. Make it a screensaver on your phone or your devices. It helps to retrain the thoughts, and then that shifts the energy. Because remember, what you put out quite often comes back. If you don't feel worthy, you know it doesn't come to you as easily, or it doesn't flow as easily when you're blocking it. So whatever blocking thoughts or energy that you're putting out that you really want to change, plaster it everywhere. Right. Just, whatever works for you, whatever you need to hear or see to change the thought process, it will be huge benefit to retraining your thoughts to think differently. Right. Um, yeah, one thing that often helps is if you're going through some healing, reminding yourself of that. I'm on a healing journey, and it's going to take some time. I can be soft and patient with myself while I work through that. Or the rants. I'm a big one on rants. I go off and sit somewhere and I will rant. Right? Yes, this is hard right now, but I know I can get through it. Those little rants help retrain those thoughts, and it quiets the mind chatter, because not everybody does well with meditation. Some people do really well with meditating with that. Other people, like, meditation is just like, it's more of a squirrel effect. So if you can change it up. I just have a rant with yourself, and or do the post-it notes, changing the thoughts and being able to work with that. And it does take time. Remember how old you are. Remember how old you are. So you've had X number of years, whether it be 20, 30, 40, 50 years of thinking one way or being told the same thing. So it doesn't take that long to unravel it. But be soft on yourself with, I'm learning how to think differently. All right, there we go. I feel very passionate about this topic because, and there's a few different reasons. Is number one, we're responsible to change it, right? Like, it doesn't matter what happened, we're responsible to shift out of it. So I feel very passionate because, and it can be done. I've experienced it myself. I've experienced that healing and retraining, and it works. And the magic, I could just sit here all day and talk about magic. Magic of manifesting, it comes from changing our thoughts. Right, the magic of relationships shifting, it comes from changing our thoughts. It's all about the energy. All right, I won't rant anymore on that. But as I get so excited. I get so excited on that topic. PJ, I've been sleeping more, actually. Oh, if you could share a few hours of that my way, I'd be grateful. uh, Let me just kind of grab a question here. I rant a lot too, says Shy. A lot. It helps to process stuff. Yeah, it does. And sometimes when you hear it, and here's the other thing I'll add to that. When you hear it out loud, it often has a different feel. I have ranted out loud, and I've said to myself, well, that sounds so weird when I say it. That sounds like that's not my truth. Why am I thinking it? When you say, there's something to saying it out loud. I truly don't feel that way. I'm thinking it, but I truly don't feel that way. There's a powerhouse in being able to say it out loud. Uh, Speak of ranting, man. My sleep has been great. Oh, Kayla, you can send a little bit of sleeping energy my way. I'd be grateful. I felt like I was 13 all over again. Oh, I love that. Can you please get to Joy's question? Okay, so Joy's question, is it up? Let me scroll. I must have missed it. I'm so sorry, Joy. Let me just scroll back up. Every now and again, I miss a question. I work really hard not to. Okay. Joy. Is there a message from Ilana about my ex-father-in-law? He has ALS, and my feeling is telling me that he will pass away when we are on vacation with my kids. I just need to sit with that. Um, Joy, so first of all, I feel with his passing, I feel like this. I'm just going to tap into him energetically. I feel like this is the person that doesn't want a big group of gathering around him while he passes. I feel more of an intimate passing here. I feel, and I feel that that's, we do have a bit of a choice with that. Some people wait until everybody leaves the bathroom to grab a coffee and go to the washroom, and then they decide to pass because they want that alone time to pass. Some people just want a smaller group. Some people want everybody there, right? It's more of that personal choice. I feel like I have to say to you, I can't cancel a vacation. I can't. I've asked if you need to, and I got a really hard no on that. I also feel before you go on vacation, if there's anybody that wants to see him before he passes, do it before. I'm not 100% sure, and spirit doesn't always show me when someone's going to pass. Number one, it's very personal information. It's only happened a few times where spirit's given me someone's exact date, or the timeline. But I do feel that if and here's a little bit of a answer for you. I do feel that before you go on this vacation, spend a little bit of time. You know, if the kids wanna spend a little bit of time, because energy of somebody passing, you don't have to be there for them to hear you, right? So if he does pass while you're away on vacation, you know, and everybody has had their chance, they can still communicate with him or acknowledge him or think about him while you're on vacation. I cannot I have to, I got this hand I'm pushing you on this trip. You always have choice and free will. You do what you feel you need to, but I feel like if you see him before you go, I'm not 100% convinced he passes while you're on vacation. But again, that's not always shown to me. I just feel like I've got to say, see him before you go. Have a glorious visit. And if the transition from physical to non-physical occurs when you're while you're on vacation, you had that time. You had that time. Right? So because and the soul knows. So when he passes, his soul will be able to hear, be able to connect with his grandchildren. And I also feel that this is a person that wouldn't want you to cancel this vacation either. Like I don't make, and perhaps that's the push that I'm getting is from him, from his energy. I don't feel that. But always do what resonates with your own heart, please. All right, and thank you for bringing me back up to that question. Wendy, thanks so much, Lana. That helps. I've been going through a lot of tests, X-rays, blood work, and doctors. I feel great. I've gotten those done. I hope my doctors can figure out something. Wendy, and I'm not a doctor. Let me just put that out there. Have they considered a step up in the testing, like either a CAT scan or an MRI? I feel like I just feel like I've got to step it up. I don't feel terrible with it, but I feel like I've got to step it up. And I don't know if it's for your own peace of mind or if it's, but I feel like there's going to be a step up. Just remember that I said it, but I don't feel terrible with that there, Wendy. I've been sick for way too long. The spirit see me feeling better anytime soon. Wendy, I feel like you're on the right path with this. I feel like like the blood work and the x-rays, I feel like you're on the right path. I do feel like the doctors are on their way to figuring something out, but I do feel it feels like an up test. So that's how they're showing it. So an up test would be something higher than an x-ray, CAT scan, MRI, ultrasound. I feel like I'm going to step up to find that reason for why you're not feeling great. We ain't self-absorbed. We just don't take any bull crap anymore. And from a loving perspective, always with love. Um, Joy. He wants okay. Probably made. And he knows what we will come back from vacation when this will happen suddenly during vacation. Okay. Joy, I can't pull out of spending time with him before you go. I can't move out of that. And regardless of the choice, whether it be made or he passes while you're on vacation, I have to go with that time before. I can't move out of that. So when I can't move out of that's very significant from my point of view with spirit. I can't move out of that. Right? Okay. Joy again. So I'm just catching up on Joy's comments. His own sons both come often. He and his wife telling me day in, day out that I'm the only one who really cares. And it breaks my heart. He and his wife telling me day in, day out that I'm the only one who really cares. I really have to, really go there, Joy, with, you know, your personal relationship with him and the grandkids and holding that space for them to see him. I really have to lean into that. I cannot lean out of it. So and someone said, well, I can't lean out of something. Spirit is adamant with me on the importance of that. I hope that resonates there with you. Okay. Oh, you're going to Turkey. Enjoy, when you have that feeling, trust it. When you have that feeling, trust it. The energy and the awareness of somebody that's transitioning does have a feel to it. And I would just trust it. And it truly doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter exactly when he transitions. What matters is the time that you spent before the vacation or before he transitions. That's what really matters. So I would kind of lean into that. Negativity is definitely all programming, 100%. Absolutely. I love Hicks and Basher. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Negativity isn't a bad thing. It humbles you, keeps you grounded. I always think my negative thoughts are trying to protect me, but it's not what I need to know right now. Negativity isn't all bad. Well, no, it's not all bad. It depends on how much you're feeding it and depends on where the negativity is, right? So when you feel a negative energy, oh, I don't, doesn't feel good or safe for me to go in there. That's one thing. But being negative on yourself or the negative thoughts, because negative is a vibration. So, and when you look at that as in what comes back, the law of attraction, that's where you have to watch the negativity. It's a fine line there for me, Shy, and I would never judge or say that you're wrong, but I do feel it's a fine line with negativity, because negativity can hold us back from growth. So it depends on where and the negativity is and how it's being put out and how it's coming into you. Just my own personal opinion on that. When I have days, I always think what Lana would say and adjust accordingly, like being one with nature and get to know our spirit guides. Absolutely, Wendy. It's life changing to take that path. It truly is life changing. I really miss my foster dog Emmett, and I find myself thinking about him often. Can you tell him, please, that he is in my heart? So I am going to jump all over this question. Part of the reason that you're finding yourself thinking about him all the time is he's trying to send you a message. Animals are telepathic. So, and then that's how they communicate. So he's thinking of you and sending you a message. And that's why he's coming into your awareness so much. So, and I'll teach you very quickly here how to communicate with him, and you already are, because you're receiving the message and you're thinking about him, and you're probably thinking very loving thoughts, very fond memories, hoping that Emmett is doing well, and you're sending that out and he's receiving it. So the two of you are actually communicating. And I'll put it to you this way: have you ever thought of somebody and text them and they were like, oh my god, I was just thinking about you? It's the same thing. It's telepathic communication. You're receiving a transmission from him. So what you can do, and it's delicious to be able to receive a transmission. You can continue your relationship with Emmett through thoughts and through energy. I have many many animals that are regular clients that they will send me a thought, or I'll be like, okay, I've got this horse in my mind, um, and I don't even have to figure it out why, and I'll message their owner and I'll say, I got your horse in my mind. What's going on? And they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, Lana, we just had the vet out, and there's a whole thing." So I don't worry about having to figure it out. I just trust what I'm getting. So you're having him in your thoughts, and he's sending you thoughts, and it's the same thing that we get as people. Oh, I was just thinking about you, and you text me. That's how animals communicate. So you don't need me. You don't need me to send that love back. And you are already doing it. Matriarch astrology, you're already sending it, and Emmett's responding. So you're going back and forth with animal communication all on your own without me. Well done. Now you get to grow it. Now you get to expand it. Now you get to, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's energy. So when you get those thoughts about Emmett, he's communicating with you. Send the thoughts back. And you can do it either in thoughts, you can do it, animals receive images as well. So if you bring a heart to your mind and just literally visualize yourself sending it, when you hit enter, he receives that love. It can be images, it can be words, it can be feelings. That's how animals communicate. And that is, animal communication 101. I just gave you 101, with how they communicate. It's all energy. It's powerful. And when you think, just think about that for a moment. Animals communicate that way, whether it be in the wild or domestic animals. Or how do you think they know how to find each other? It's all telepathic communication. And some of it's probably instinct too, but they communicate that way. It's all energy. There's so much to learn from animals. If you want to learn about energy, there's so much to learn from animals on how to send it, how to tap into it, how to work with it. It's all energy. Have you ever noticed a dog or a cat or in any pet knows when you're sad? Even if you haven't spoken those words, they come and cuddle you. It's energy, right? They feel that. Even if you're really busy, or they still feel that energy. How many people have an animal that's waiting at the door for them? They can feel you coming home, and they tap into your energy. All right. I love talking about animal communication. If you can't tell. um, okay. Aaron, that takes practice. It does take, okay. Uh, I'm just trying to find questions here. I'm not going to read your comments back and forth to each other. I would love to hear you talk about magic. I get very excited about magic. I get very excited about energy. I get very excited about the eagerness to learn. It just makes me so excited. I do, and I love to teach. Oh, there's Mel. Mel, hey Mel, good to see you. Sending my love as always. Sending it back to you, Mel. Diane, my son is recovering well at home from his infection. Yeah, I'm very great. I'm happy to hear that. Does Spirit have any messages for him? Diane, I'm just curious if there's been some fear bubbling out with health or any kind of health anxiety. I feel a little bit worried. I feel like I've got some fear, Diane. I feel like I've got to say, no, you're okay and you're recovering. Has this infection triggered someone around him to worry about health at an anxiety level? Very much, yes, very much anxiety. Okay. And the anxiety I feel is connected to this illness. I feel like it's almost like I'm going to use the word traumatic, but I feel like this has brought on like an anxiety from a traumatic health event. And I feel like I have to nurture that anxiety a little bit. I don't feel this as a chronic thing. I feel like, I feel very much recovery. I feel, yes, it's a little bit slow. Yes, it's going to take a bit, but I have to calm that anxiety a little bit. I have to, and even in the adults around or the other people around, I have to just calm it. Diane, it was so traumatic for him. Going to the washroom is hard for him mentally. Yeah. So I feel like I just have to take my time and work through that. I feel like I have to understand a little bit about the infection, and I feel like a little bit of teaching. And Diane, I can't remember how old your son is. My apologies. I don't know if he's a little or I feel um kind of in the middle there. I don't feel him very old, but I don't feel him very, very young. But I feel like I have to work through a little bit of that anxiety and heal that emotional experience from that infection. And I feel like I was thinking of taking him to a therapist, talk to a he's 10. Okay, that's right in the middle. I didn't feel him a big teenager. I didn't feel him little. It wouldn't hurt. It absolutely wouldn't hurt at all to get him to talk to someone. I'm big on that, whether it be spiritual therapy or speaking to a therapist. It's not going to hurt. And healthcare, and Diane, I think you're local to me, right? The healthcare system doesn't always consider the emotional or spiritual or energetic effect on this that it has on the system, on uh, how it affects us emotionally, how the healthcare system affects us. And I feel with this 10-year-old, I feel very much aware of that emotional trauma. I feel like he's sensitive to it. So a lot of other kids might not have been bothered by this. They may have been like recovered and get on with it. I feel like emotionally, I feel like a little bit my awareness emotionally, the energy is heightened with this kid. Like he's heightened emotionally for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being, that heightened emotion energy. I feel like I just have to work with that now. I also feel like I have to allow him to verbalize the fears. If either he's afraid. I've got to watch the time. Oh my goodness! I just looked up. It was like 43 minutes. I feel like he's afraid to get sick again, or what if I don't get better, or what if I'm not 100%? And I feel like I've got to give him, permission to verbalize it without interruption. Let him spew it, and then come at him with, okay, let's look at this medicine. The medicine is working. You're getting better, right? I feel like until he's finished speaking it, then go back at him with a few of the explanations. I also feel like there's a why question. Why did I get so sick? Why did I get so sick? And will it happen again? I just feel like I've got to have those honest, wide open opportunity to verbalize, draw it, however he likes to communicate. And if therapy is not a bad thing, it's a very healing thing. Right. So it absolutely does not hurt. Yes, he asks that all the time. Why? I can hear him. I can hear him literally asking that. Why? Why? Right? Um, on the other side of this, Diane, I do feel like he's going to get through it. I feel like this is going to be healed. And I feel like it's a good thing that he's working on the health anxiety now, because I feel like it would have popped up much later as well. I don't feel like this is something that could have been avoided, and he will work through it. I hope that helps you there. All right, a couple more guys. Peyton, hello, Lana. Is there any advice from Spirit for my conversation on Friday, how I should proceed in this aspect of my life? Peyton, it literally was written in great big bold letters on my spiritual chalkboard. Trust what you're feeling. Trust what you're feeling. I feel like if you trust that, and you're very good at trusting, and don't wobble in it. I feel like it's going to go it's going to go as it needs to. I feel like I've got to really push you into that deep rooted trust up for Friday. I also feel like with part of this, it's honoring you. And I need to remind you of that. I'm not quite sure why, but I do. I need to remind you that this is honoring you. Okay. Um, Kayla, my stepdad isn't tapped into his spiritual side. Does his grandfather or spirit guides have any messages for him? Kayla, with your stepdad, I feel like okay, I do feel like he's tapped into a spiritual side to a degree. I do. And I also feel like he's shy about it. I feel like this is something and it's okay. I feel like it's okay. I feel like he does have his own personal thoughts that he doesn't share. And sometimes people are afraid to open that up. And I feel that there with him. I feel like he does have a spiritual side. And it's just like a layer that he keeps to himself. With his grandfather, I feel like I have to say that your stepfather has done a lot of rebuilding. I can see it like life building blocks, and it's kind of interesting, Kayla, how Spirit is showing me, Lego, like I can see little Lego blocks, and I can see Lego blocks from your stepfather's lifetime now, but I can also see Lego blocks from his grandfather, and I can see those Lego blocks kind of changing on how things were built, and it's really cool. I wish I could just give you my eyes for a minute, Kayla, and I have to say that he's done a good job rebuilding. He's done a good job rebuilding things, and I feel like with his own spirituality and his own spiritual growth, a lot. I gotta click this here, skip ads. Sorry, guys. With a lot of that rebuilding, I have to say to him, it's great that you did it that way. And I can see a lot of color around him. I can see, like, different color of Lego blocks and how he rebuilt. I also feel that did he do things very differently than grandfather? I feel like it was built very differently. I'm also very much aware of my lower back here, Kayla, with him. So does your stepfather have any like lower back stuff? I got like a kink right in my lower back, and it's definitely not mine. So there's something back there, something back there energetically with him. I hope that helps there. All right, you guys. I'm not here on. Let me see what Shai has to say. I know it's an Aquarius thing to a certain degree. I'm not quite sure what Shai's talking about there. I don't have a chance to. I don't have time to scroll back up. You're very welcome, Peyton. Look at Kayla. I knew he was spiritual, but didn't share with me. Yeah, he is. There's what I could, and I'll tell you something else, Kayla, too. It was very easy to tap into that. I don't feel him closed. People who are very, very closed spiritually, you can't peel them. You can't peel into it. You can't, and I didn't have any trouble peeling into his energy. I think it's just a very private thing, and that's okay. Not everybody no, not everybody needs to walk around with, I'm spiritual and here's what I think and here's what I believe. You don't, but I don't, I do feel him very, I wouldn't say he doesn't have like a deep spirituality, but he is spiritual. He was easy for me to peel. All right. I am not here Friday. I have an event in Kitchener that I'm very excited for. It's a platform mediumship, so it is one of my biggest passions to get up on the platform and channel for the group, and I'm very excited for it. So I will not be here Friday morning, which is why I spent some extra time here today, and took some questions with an Ask the Medium session as well. I'll see you Monday. And have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be a busy one for me. It's very busy for me. I have an event Friday. Tuesday, I have a softball tournament. And Sunday, I am on a horse farm for the day. And I'm very excited for that as well. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the solstice. Enjoy this full moon. Enjoy the energy. Um, and do some letting go if that resonates with you. Truly do some letting go and some opening up and going deeper. Remember, there's no ceiling, right? There's no ceiling there. As always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. Thumbs up, you guys, if you enjoyed your time with me.